Hey, I'm Reed. I'm the CEO of Reliant Technology. This is Chris Bolo.
Nice to see everybody.
Director of Services, and we're here to talk a little bit today about a challenge that most people run into in an IT role at some point or another. The challenge is one day you get a bill from the manufacturer for your hardware support, and it is overwhelmingly large. A story we ran into the other day, went down and saw a customer, and they had almost a $300,000 maintenance bill, and they're like, whoa, we don't have the money to pay for this. What are our options? So I know this probably happens a lot. In your experience, what are some of the terms and themes that happen when people run into a bill? Like, I'm thinking, like, people get told their equipment's end of life or end of service life. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. So end of life really is when your product is actually going and not being supported by the actual manufacturer. End of service life is it still can be supported from a maintenance contract perspective, but there are no more software updates coming out for it. In either case, things are probably getting more expensive because the manufacturer is really not in the business of supporting that as much as they are some of the newer things. So there's options that you need to consider at that point.
So let's talk about some of those options. So the customer really is probably thinking about a few options. One, throw away the equipment and abandon the project. Probably doesn't happen that much, but it is an option. The most realistic options are, one, they're going to refresh the technology with something newer, a newer type of hardware to consolidate or replace what they have.
Right.
The second option might be what, outside of that?
Well, they could actually replace the hardware, or they can actually go back to the manufacturer in cases if it's end of service life to renew their contract, which is typically a pretty expensive proposition at that point.
So maybe they can negotiate, maybe not, it depends. The third option, which might be a good option, is to engage a third-party provider to provide maintenance support on that hardware. What are some benefits of that option, and what kind of savings can a customer typically see by engaging a third-party provider?
Typically, what we have seen, and our customers tell us, we have over 2,000 customers that we maintain equipment for, is there's about a 40 to 70% savings, and a lot of that is due to the fact that parts get cheaper over time. It allows customers and companies to actually keep the equipment that's actually running today in their environment. If it's running today, if the firmware is stable on the actual equipment itself and the software is running fine and the application is running fine, there probably is no reason to really refresh that equipment. So that's kind of where our service comes in. We allow you to keep that. We want you to keep that as long as possible and preserve your operational budget there.
So a savings of up to 70%, they keep the technology they're familiar with, and they keep rocking on.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thanks for detailing those options, and thanks for giving us an overview of what third-party maintenance can offer a person that gets hit with an unrealistic support bill.
Thank you, too.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.